Hello, my fellow patriots. This is Alex with Disabled Vets Perspective, and I know it's been a while, but I wanted to come on here and see what y'all are up to. I'm going to give it a few minutes and see how many people pop on here. It has been quite some time. Probably not getting notifications out. They're probably just going to see if I will go off into the sunset or whatever they do. But we have one watching so far. Oh, let's see. It's going to be interesting to read the chat because they put it in a small box on the right. But, also, if you're on my stream, on my D Live right now, I cannot see you. I'm on my cell phone, but I can wave my hand at you anyway. Uh, 7 people. Hello, Margot. Great to see you. Deidre Baker and Christy Ledford, Armageddon, and Deidre Baker again. Look at there. There's Margot again. I know it's been an awful long time. I've been really busy. Hey, Jim, good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in so long. I thought you died, but I should have called and made funeral arrangements at least. I should have done something. But anyway, so let me start out by, hey, Tony, good to see you. Start out by giving you a little heads up on how Lisa's doing because I know a lot of you are following this journey. It's like the walk through hell is more like it. Zombie, great to see you too. Um, Today she is in getting her chemo done. It takes approximately 2 hours. We still dealing with COVID limitations, and they're trying to be assholes about it. Hello, Sam. Um, anyway, so I come to this place with her every day. I told her she's not going through this alone. Made that promise, and a couple of times now they've tried to tell me I can't go into the facility with her. And I know a lot of you don't know me well, but I assure you, when I make a promise and I tell somebody I'm going to do something, I do it. And when they tell me that I'm not going into a place with my wife while she's going through lung cancer treatment, let's just say I don't become a very pretty person. Maybe a little ashamed of that, but not really. I mean, I am very, very aggressive in my stance as far as, you know, standing up to the man. You know what I'm saying? So I don't take any of that from these people. And I have a particular animus towards this COVID pandemic because of the COVID, the we lost 4 months of potential treatment, and we couldn't get a diagnosis. Therefore, she didn't get bumped to the priority list, and that meant we waited until the X-ray and different things were available again because they were shut off for a little while. And when you're talking about lung cancer, you don't need to be dragging along for 4 months. Uh, Sariorsa Cooper, Sariorsa, I think. How you doing? Crystal Chrysler Imperior, good to see you. So anyway, we lost 4 months because of all this crap, and she's pretty scared, and I'm pretty much her backbone at this point. AB, how you doing? Um, you know, I keep track of her medications. I'm working as her peripheral brain right now, and when you're flustered, when you're scared, when everything is new and you don't know what to expect, then when you're sitting in an office talking to a doctor, your mind is doing one thing and you're hearing because you're not paying attention to the doctor. You're just thinking about your situation. So that is one of the most important reasons why I go to the appointments. I sit in with the doctors. I remember questions. Yeah, I don't back down ever. Um, uh, Yeah, a lot of nurses act like gods, and then they get all bowed up, and then they get all offended when they lose. But I'm willing to help them lose a few times just to keep them in reality. But anyway, I do attend all of the appointments, and I make sure to keep her informed. Excuse me a minute. Eh, And we're back. Okay. So yeah, it's the whole thing is pretty important, and this COVID thing, trying to put restrictions on people, and we've already been told this thing is basically almost non-existent now. Uh, Death rates are like 0.004%. So it's time to let this thing go and carry on with something else. But anyway, so that's what we got going right now. We got every day we come to this place. It's 50 miles from the house, so it's quite a deal. But we drive here. She gets her radiation done every day. Once a week, she does her chemotherapy, which is today. Hello, DM. Good to see you. So we are at this place a lot. It is exhausting. Um, I wouldn't. The only other way I'd have it is her not having cancer at all. But I wouldn't have this any other way. I'll do whatever it takes to help her through this thing. Um, it exhausting or not, I carry on. Hey, R-rated conservative, how you doing? But anyway, so yeah, the if we would have gotten ahead of this thing, and not lost that 4 months, then by now she would be done already with chemo. She would, I think she'd be done with her radiation, and she'd be well on her way to her immunotherapy, which is going to start after the last chemotherapy. But it's amazing how the world has changed because of this sniffles, and the bedside manner, the patient relationship with staff.
New text message from Lisa.
Okay, she just let me know she sees me. She's probably waving her hand at everybody. She's sitting up there in the chair getting the juice to her. I don't know why the rest of the country isn't following South Dakota's lead. They have the lowest numbers and didn't shut their state. Yeah, it's amazing to me. The sheep followed the food bucket.
New text message from Lisa.
She'll be done in about an hour and a half. Okay. Margot, bless you, dear. That is so nice. I would say though, I would not do super chats. I'm not. I don't think I'm going to be turning on the monetization on this channel. I'm probably going to turn it off. I just haven't done it yet because we are getting kicked off like flies, basically. So YouTube is killing off monetization on channels, and they're keeping everything that people put into the super chat and to the advertising. They just keep it. So I'm turning it off because frankly, I don't want to pay YouTube so that they can restrict me from speaking my mind. It's unfair. So I don't want to give them benefit from my effort because they're not returning the favor. Do I have a Cash App? No, I do not. I have PayPal. That is, I have that underneath underneath all of my videos. I haven't put it under this one yet because I didn't set it up completely. But every single one of my videos has my contact information, has my PayPal, and anything that is needed. Sorry if I'm missing anyone who said hello. Yeah, already conservative said hello. So there, now you didn't miss anybody. But anyway, so what I was getting at is bedside manner. Things are changing. Hey, see, when when Lisa went in for her biopsy, which turned out to be a pretty intense surgery, clearing her airway, um, she's laying there and she only had function of one lung, so it was very difficult to breathe. We didn't know that one lung wasn't working at that point. Watchful Warrior, how you doing? But anyway, so she's laying in the bed and she sounds like two pieces of metal trying to grind together while she's trying to breathe. And the nurse is just standing at the end of the bed doing her paperwork, standing off a few feet, don't want to touch nobody. So anyway, she says, I can't breathe and I need air. And she takes the mask off. And the first thing the nurse says is, you got to put that mask on. I was like, you know what? She can't breathe. And I said, I'll be damned if I'm going to sit here and watch her suffocate because of some pandemic. So I pulled her mask off. And I said, you guys won't do your job, I'll do it. And basically, nobody offered oxygen. It was just, medicine is mechanical now. And what I mean by that is it's robotic. The relationship between the people and the patient is almost gone. One of the worst examples of something that happened was when we went to our local Baptist hospital, and she had to get the port put in because they use a line that goes into your bloodstream to do chemo. So when we did that, here's a law in Florida. If you leave a dog in your parked car and the cops find it and the car's not running, there's no AC, you'll go to jail. That's Florida. You go to jail. But when we went to Baptist, after I checked her in, they had me wait out in the parking lot with all the other folks that were there. Some of these people were in their 70s and 80s. I mean, Florida's got a lot of elderly, so you can just imagine. These people are sitting in their cars. Their cars are in the parking lot on a 100-degree day, so they're sitting there idling, and pretty soon the cars start overheating, so people start turning their cars off. Well, I did a little casual walk around. I should have put it on video, but I was too pissed. But I did a walk around and I just looked, and there were elderly folks sitting in their car with absolute water down their face, like they dumped a bucket on their head. And, so because of COVID, you can still go to jail if you leave a dog in a locked car in Florida. But you can throw your elderly and your drivers or whoever is there for the patient, you can throw them into locked cars in the parking lot, and that's okay. So the priorities have to get figured out a little bit. So robotic communication and interaction at this point. I wonder what it's going to be like on the other side of the COVID thing. Because at this point, Lulu, how you doing? Tactical technician, welcome. On the other side of the COVID thing, I wonder what, if human life has lost its value and the interaction becomes a scripted process under very strict guidelines. Black Spring with Autumn, hey there. You just wonder what it's going to be like. I wish that we could move more towards natural medicine and get away from the system of a down type of thing, because it's ridiculous. But anyway, I'm just checking here. It's very hard to read my screen because it's a little phone. But anyway, so we're going to get off the subject of medicine here for a minute, and we're going to jump into some of the happenings in our society besides the medical system going to shit. these doctors and nurses of today have seemed to have lost all compassion for the people that pay for their salaries. Yeah, you nailed it. It's exactly right. It's a it's an assembly line process now, and I'm wondering if some of that is being taught in school. I'm wondering if humanity itself is losing compassion. People are capable of some very evil things, and we're seeing a lot of that now. And it just seems like the more we go, the meaner and nastier people have gotten. But anyway, so I was over there on our Rated Conservatives channel a few days ago, and I made a statement that I wanted to get on record on my channel as well. That the whole situation, and I'm a little late on stuff, but I'm keeping up as far as paying attention to what's going on. The situation with Camel Toe and the Biden are this is a genius ploy, and it's a sham show. Um, they're trying to keep you distracted on as I would call them, completely unemployable personnel. We've got Camel Toe, who everybody knows she did a lot of sexual favors to get where she is. That's a pretty bad mark against you, for one, because it's all about respecting women, um, you know, treating them as equals, and then you have a woman that they bring to the top of their pile that is a sexual deviant. Basically, she's used her assets and asked for gain in a sexual manner. That doesn't do anything for women's lib or respecting women. The other thing is, she's when she signed up in Congress, she signed up as a Indian woman, Indian American, Indian with a dot, not Native American. That would be this Indian. But she signed up as a Indian American, and now she is running for vice president as an African American. Well, that is a pretty bold faced lie. It's cultural appropriation. It's stolen valor. I mean, kind of. Uh, you know, if you can change your identity from male to female or female to male, I guess you can change from your nationality too. But anyway, so that's two strikes against her. And then you've got a situation with history. She's she has put an enormous amount of people behind bars for extraordinary amounts of time to she was in it with the corporations. But doctors and nurses, be careful dehumanizing doctors, nurses, and police. They are humans like everyone else. Keep in mind, my wife is a nurse. Well, no general conversations were intended. Um, it's it's selective because my father was a physician. I'm definitely not talking about them being all that way. I'm talking about a pattern, but definitely no harm intended. It was just it's a it's a perception that I have in the broader sense, not in the individuals. But anyway, so Kamala Harris put a lot of people in prison because there's actually an amendment in the Constitution that I don't really agree with, but it says when you're incarcerated that you are subject to slave labor. And a lot of these corrupt DAs and attorneys know this. A lot of corporations know this. So they try to incarcerate people that are young, strong, and healthy and ready to go to work. And then they use them to do jobs that they need. So it's a prisons that become private, they become for profit businesses, and corporations use prison labor in a lot of cases to do their dirty work. So I think we're up to strike 3 on camel toe. So number 4 here, her her history and her own family. They were basically plantation owners in Jamaica, and they were known for having the largest number of slaves in their family. So they were very wealthy. They had stature because of the amount of slaves that they had because of the size of their plantation. There are good doctors and nurses, but few and far between, my experience anyway. But if you come across a good one, thank them for sure. Absolutely. Tactical, my daughter's a nurse as well. I'm not saying in a whole that have lost their humanity, but in general, there are a lot of them that are only there for the paycheck. Yeah. Um, Heels Up Harris. Yeah. That's one of her nicknames. Absolutely. So anyway, so we're up to 4 good solid strikes that make her truly unemployable in the position as vice president, because that puts her one step away from the president. And you know, there's also the question right now about her being an anchor baby, that neither one of her parents were U.S. citizens when she was born. And the Constitution's clear, but the manipulation by the um, elected officials is blurry. The Constitution says that if you are a naturalized American, a citizen born here, if your parents are citizens and you were born here, then you are an American at birth. But this is the only country on the planet where you can go pop a puppy and then all of a sudden you have a American baby. That doesn't work anywhere else in the world. If you go anywhere else, if you are an American and you have a child in another country, your child does not become a citizen of that country. They are an American and they just happen to be born outside of American soil to American families. So that's another question with her. But I would go through the list of things with Joe Biden, but why? I mean, he's he does it all by himself. If you just look at his whatever briefings they can manage to get in front of him, um, Obama was, yeah, I think he was illegally the president. Yeah, it was never a legal presidency, and that may come out. But anyway, I don't have to work hard to tell you that Biden is not the answer. The man is a habitual liar. He's a criminal, and he's got dementia. And I'm sure they're going to try to use the dementia as a way to keep him from being prosecuted for his crimes. Well, you can't prosecute him because he's not in a state of mind to defend himself. Bullshit. Just because you get dementia now doesn't give you forgiveness for a life of treachery. So I say nail him to the wall, let him be forgetful in prison. Maybe every time he leaves his cell, he'd meet brand new people, even though it's a cellmate. But anyway, so the point that I'm making with all of this is that you guys need to be very cautious of what they are doing. It has nothing to do with Biden and Harris. I don't even think they're going to be the final pick. Um, I think they're going to get replaced. I think they are just an illusion. Last night, Michelle Obama, Mike said that Trump might be a great man, but he is not a great president. Where did she get her information from? Because I never saw anything that Obama had done that was great. Yeah, well, she made it up. But anyway, so back to it here. This is a wool over the eyes, and they probably got that shit pulled all the way down over your face like a face mask. But what they are doing and what they are depending on is a total distraction, so that you are watching and giving all of your focus to heels up and debating. And while you are distracted, they are working diligently on getting their down ballot tickets up. Uh, they want they want the House and they want the Senate, so they can cheat on the down ballot issues because nobody's paying attention to it. So it's up to you to be very vigilant in your district, in your voting region, and understand that there's going to be some underhanded techniques that are used to get these down ballot people up on the ticket. So just be cautious of this. This is what's going on. They already know they don't have a chance for the presidency. They're not stupid. They're ignorant assholes, but they're not stupid. They uh, they know what they're doing. They're professional criminals. This is this is their life's work. How to move in the shadows as criminals without the general population catching on. Well, we've caught on. It's sort of game over. So be cautious of it. Understand what they're doing because the whole Biden Harris thing is a shit show. They are even acknowledging that Democrats don't like it, but pay attention to that too because that artificial infighting is exactly what they want you to focus on. The media is behind this. Um, like I said earlier, YouTube is demonetizing the conservative channels, trying to demoralize them and make them go away. Um, you know, we've got the CBS actually coming out with election results a day before the actual primary vote, which was today. Yesterday, they said Laura Loomer lost with only 2% of the vote. But these people don't have a crystal ball that I know of. So I don't know how the hell they can get away with that. And that was a tactic to interfere with an election. That means that, today being primary day in Florida, that means, oh, well, people are going to look at that. Oh, Laura lost already. I didn't even know we voted yet. And they're going to think, oh, well, then we must have missed it. So that is absolutely CBS screwing with an election. That's election interference. It's a fucking felony. Excuse my French, but I'm so tired of the blatant criminality that's done by our mainstream media and uh, by our elected officials. It's they are absolutely in your face with it now. They don't even try to hide it. We are nothing but peasants. We're sheep. We are a herd of useless idiots to them. We have no value. We serve no purpose other than to dump our taxes out of our wallet so that they can live a healthy and happy life. So when value of humanity is that low to a group of people, then they don't feel like they need to hide anything from you anymore. They just do whatever they want to do. And then if you bring something up, they say, shut up. You don't know nothing you're talking about. Um, you hit one of these Democrats with their own statements, and, the I don't recall is one of their favorite things. Or if you tried to address an issue that they have that may be contradictory to the norm, then they'll say, oh, well, if you're going to run roughshod for the other side, maybe this interview needs to be over, whatever. But they are absolute assholes and they know it. And they don't care that we know it anymore because they feel like they're totally protected, that we will never do anything, that they can say and do whatever they want. But time is short for these people. I think, Mr. Brewer, how you doing? Uh, who's the three missing thumbs up? I don't know. I didn't put one on there yet. I guess I should be. I'm ashamed of myself. But anyway, the the primary issue I'm trying to make is that this is all an illusion. It's a puppet show, and we cannot, as patriots, fall for it. Even the distraction of Antifa and Black Lives Matter, all of this is coordinated distraction. If you are awake to the sham, then You know this, you've got this. But there are so many people that are still asleep, which is amazing because, well, correct that. It's not terribly amazing because these people have been indoctrinated since probably as early as the 1950s, maybe more. But it's hard to wake up a society when they've been lulled for so long by misinformation and flat out lies from mainstream media and every news source that's ever existed. Um, they've been using propaganda and they've been using false flags since earlier than the 1300s. None of this stuff is new. It's oh bless me, excuse that. Not bad manners, just whatever. I guess I had coffee. Um, anyway, so be awake, be ready for this stuff, and don't don't fall for it. It's all an illusion. Um, they call us cattle, grass feeders. Yeah. Um, well, they look at us as breeders of their necessity for children. Um, you know, they take the kids, they they rape them, they kill them, and they eat them. And this stuff is coming out, but my problem is I don't think some of the stuff is going to make it to the news or make it to society. Frankly, I believe that some people are incapable of. Hey, Cindy Duff, how you doing? They're incapable of handling some of the reality that is out there, and if you dumped it in their face, you got to register Republican. Oh my goodness, DM, you rock. That's awesome. Um, anyway, so people will not be able to handle some of this. I have seen things that maybe I shouldn't have, um, but I've seen them, and I don't have possession of them. I don't. I wouldn't put stuff like that on my computer, but I've seen stuff, and I've with my father being a physician when he was going to medical school. If we didn't go to the school, we never saw him, so we would go there to have lunch. And while my dad is in the cadaver lab dissecting humans and learning the anatomy and how their guts work, we'd be sitting there eating sandwiches, and he would hold up body parts and say, "Hey, what's this?" And we go, "Oh, that's a heart. That's a lung. That's a kidney." So I have a very strong stomach, but if some people saw the things that I've seen in the darkest places, it would be a shock so deep to the soul that some people wouldn't be able to handle it to the extent that they might take their own lives. The the anguish, the anger, the why didn't I know this? Why didn't we do anything? That kind of stuff would be so overwhelming to some of these people that they'll just off themselves. And that's what we have to be careful with, waking people up to the realities that are around them. Um, the movie The Matrix is so damn close. I mean, we don't have a computer cable shoved up our ass, but we damn near have one in our face all the time, which is, these phones. Um, if I wasn't doing what I do to try to get information out to the people that will listen, I wouldn't have a phone. I wouldn't have this leash. But, I came up in a day where we went out and didn't need a cell phone. We just went out and did our thing. So I'm not I'm not leash bound to technology, although I do use it. I use it to research and stuff like that. I'm I'm literally one of those that can take it or leave it. If I wasn't doing what I do for you guys, I wouldn't need it at all, and probably, frankly, wouldn't use it. 12B, how you doing? Um, anyway, so a lot going on. This arrest of the FBI attorney was that felt to me like throwing a bone. Okay, children, shut up. Here's one. We'll take them out for you. But I am really discouraged at the pace that we've been at with Durham and William Barr, anybody else that's affiliated with the DOJ. Um, Ray at the FBI, he's as useless as tits on a chicken. He should have been fired a long time ago. He is absolutely standing in the way of information being released. And that bothers me immensely. I'm so sick of these people covering up criminality. But I just believe that this lawyer was a little bit of a, yeah, shut up. We got one. No, go away. You bottom me. You know, bottom of the pile type of thing. And maybe I'm wrong, but I just have this gut wrenching feeling that we are being delayed with some kind of ulterior motive based on November 3rd and beyond, that they are just somehow hoping that they can have all this turned off like a light switch after the election. Um, who do you think Trump will pardon today? I got thinking about that, and somebody said Julian Assange, but here's the problem: you can't pardon somebody in another country's prison. The president, I don't believe, has that power. Even with allies, he could request that they extradite. Um, if they extradite and agree to it and come here and end up in one of our prisons, then he could pardon. But I think Julian Assange is out. Um, I was thinking Manafort, because that man has been raked across the coals. Yeah, he's no innocent dude. He's got a history himself, but um, forgive the crimes of thee, but not for me, kind of thing. The crimes that he did were done in a lot of cases at the request of people like John Brennan. Um, this Shadowgate that just came out by Millie Weaver, who also is trying to be railroaded. Um, you really need to watch that. Um, they know everything about everybody. So when they say, "Oh, get your VPN so you can hide," and all this other, it's a bunch of crap. They know everything about everybody. Um, movie Eagle Eye, I think it was, where they activate cameras all over town that can follow you, that can change the wording. Effie, hey, how you doing? Thank you. Um, yeah, for those who are just coming in, um, I would say please, you might use my PayPal if you're going to donate. And I thank you for all of it very, very much. But I fear that YouTube is cutting off conservative channels, demonetizing them at a fairly rapid rate. And they're going to keep the money. They won't give it to me until my account goes over 100, and then they give me 70% of it and keep 30%. But if they kill the monetization of the channel, then they keep all of it. So it's really paying them to be tyrannical, and I'm trying to avoid that. I'm literally going, when I get home, I'm turning off the monetization of my channel, because I don't want to be paying YouTube for services that they're going to restrict me from using. So, oh, Margot, thank you. You're such a blessing. I'm so glad you are part of my family here. Um, anyway, so I've gone over a few things, but anyway, so going back to the pardon, I would say Manafort, possibly. The man, no saint, but a lot of the things that he did a long time ago. And there is a little thing called statute of limitations that should have been in his favor, but they rejected it. Uh, if he is does something with your son, if so, then I will send prayers up as well. We all need to be praying for each other all the time. It's really important. Um, we're in dark times, and you can feel it, you can see it, It's all around you. So we have to stay in prayer. We have to stay under the armor of God and protect ourselves from the dark because it's trying to get in. Um, you know, we're going through dark times right now. Lisa and me are going through it, but we're staying positive as much as humanly possible. We stay positive. We plan things that are well beyond the treatment period, and we've got our 30-year anniversary coming up on the 27th of September. She will be done with she'll be done with her chemo and her radiation on the 29th of September. So then we go to the immunotherapy, which is every 2 weeks. She has a thing on the back of her arm, and every 2 weeks they go and fill it up with whatever gets absorbed into the skin. But we won't have to be here for every 2 weeks. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our asses out of here and go down to Crystal River in Florida for a little bit and unwind with the manatees and hang out in the crystal clear waters and just get the hell away from here for a while. So things like that, making plans works for keeping the motivation. Anyway, what am I at here? I am at 41 minutes. She's got a little bit of time left, but anyway, so what else is on your mind over here? What's going on? Hey, Matthew, thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Make sure you guys subscribe. Truth Not Fiction Matters, of course, because you get some good articles out there and get some good interviews. Thank you, Effie. Yes, amen indeed, DM, for sure. So what else is on your mind, folks? And what do you guys think? I'm curious because I haven't been able to catch everything. Obviously, I've got pretty full days now, so I look for things as I can. Cheryl, welcome anyway. Late's fine too. We're all good. I agree. We do need to. Evil is all around us. God bless all of you, especially the young and innocent. Absolutely. Yeah, we've got to save our children. My thoughts on Millie Weaver documentary. I found it very interesting. I also found it interesting that they are already on a bashing fest. The media, the powers that be, are already trying to destroy the people that gave the information, the whistleblowers, and you've got to be able to see through some of that. Maybe the reality is, as a whistleblower, sometimes you might have to do something that would be called marginally illegal in order to expose the illegalities of those around you. So there has to be a tolerance in there for some of that, because you can't expose the capital crimes if you don't commit a petty crime in the first place. So watch out for the discrediting of the folks that were interviewed. The arrest of Millie is absolutely related to the release of this documentary, because if you listen to the documentary, I think you'll find that there is one particular kingpin. Nachos, how you doing? Bar works against JW, Mr. Fitton. Yeah, Barr is not. Be careful about praising Barr, folks. He ain't it. That dude's got he's got his own little swamp bucket. So just be cautious. Trust nobody, question everything, do your own research. Don't pay attention to anything I say, because I might not have my shit together. Hey, Pete, how you doing? AB, lots of young have been convinced that socialism is good for us. Yeah, yeah. They have been indoctrinated for a long time. Lisa Manis, do you think the new quantum computer will keep China and others from hacking? Or are we going to digital currency? I do believe they're trying to get rid of the Federal Reserve note. I believe this is a international banker scheme to try to keep power. They're going to try to go to blockchain and Bitcoin. Um, I don't believe that they're going to be successful. I think they're going to be allowed to make the transition, and then it's going to be shut down like a light switch because right now there's already a new currency being made by the overseen by the National Treasury, which is where it's supposed to be, and it's being made on an Indian reservation because that's still considered sovereign land outside of the corporation. So, yeah, I think the global bankers, I think the global bankers will make their change. They'll go to Bitcoin and they'll get rid of their own paper fiat currency, which will save us a lot of time and effort. Once they make that change, then we'll just turn it off like a light switch because the National Treasury will take over the financing of our money. They will handle the loans. They will handle the making of our currency. Um, they will control the purse, so to speak. Uh, the House won't be able to just say, I need 60,000 trillion dollars for this project because the Treasury will have a gold backed, stable allotment that will be available, and they won't be able to just print and exceed that amount. So debt will be a thing of the past. So, yes, I believe it's going to go digital, but then I believe very strongly that we're going back to a treasury note where it should have been to begin with. It should have stayed there. Uh, try, yeah, trying to take Millie's kids. This is an attack. Now, what I was saying before I got asked that about currency, um, and she's not as smart as I thought she was. She is now dealing with CPS, and they will end up taking her kids. Nachos, I have to disagree. Um, they came after my kids. They target low income families. And let me tell you, the right parent is not going to give up their kids. They came for my children twice. And I told them point blank, I said, one of us is going to die today. I said, which one do you want it to be? Because I said, that's what it's going to take if you're going to get my kids out of this house. And I told that to a guy wearing a badge. So when they came to take my kids, it didn't happen. And when they went to try to get a warrant, I went away. Funny thing is, my kids went away too. So, you know, I got away from the area. I handled the situation remotely through a person that was helping us. And the reality is, they wanted my kids because we were broke. And so we were able to eat. We had a roof over our head. We had everything we needed. They had clothes. They had what they needed. But because we were broke, they targeted us. So if you are the kind of parent that will protect your kids, you will take a bullet for them and you will do whatever in the hell you have to do to protect your family. So us using treasury notes will further destabilize China's economy. Yeah, it'll be a death blow to the world unless the other countries are smart enough to be producing their own currency at this moment. Because when the change happens, it's going to be a light switch. And if the country isn't prepared to have their own currency in place of the Federal Reserve note, then you know they're going to be in bad shape. Margot, my youngest daughter, was taken by CPS when my late husband committed suicide. They claimed I couldn't protect her Took me a year fighting to get her back. Margo, that sucks. Um, I realize that you can't always win the battle, but like you did, you always stay in the fight. So, Roger that. No vax and no anti-second admin laws. Yeah, yeah. The vaccine's another story. That's not happening. I'd be willing to go live in the woods, and I'd be quite comfortable. I mean, I'm well versed in survival. I don't worry about any of that, and I will not be dealing with it. So I'm prepared to live. Take the wife and go live as a hermit, just disappear. So I'm not even worried about it. I will not be taking it. I was forced to take vaccines in the army. I have an entire physical system that's totally fried because of it. I'm done. That's mine. I'm over. Vaccine is designed for the one world government system. Yeah, it's bioluminescence and radio technology. Not going to happen. Anyway, going back again to the situation with Shadowgate. If you pay attention to that documentary, I think you'll hear one name that kind of rings a bell over and over and over again. And you'll realize that the king of this whole shadow government is John Brennan. Yeah, imagine that. Where's the applause line? This man has been involved in every dark activity. I mean, probably going back 25, 30 years. Uh, I wouldn't put it past him that he would be the drug lord for the CIA for when they're moving their drugs. Also, if your kids are in public school, they can keep your kid until they want to give your kid back. There are some issues for sure, Nachos, but you just bottom line is you got to be ready to disappear on a moment's notice. If you're gonna survive some of this stuff, you got to be able to duck and cover. I got a spot in the woods as well, and they can come and get me. Yeah, I got a piece of land, that we live on out here in the country, but I'm surrounded by a bunch of woods too, so I can duck in and out as needed, which is kind of handy. But I also have a well fortified property, and it can be quickly set up with perimeter security and everything that I need. So I've been working on all this stuff for a lot of years because yeah, John Brennan. Anyway, I've been working on all of this because I've seen all this coming for a very long time. They didn't sneak up on me. So 2,000 acres I can disappear on as well. Well, there you go. And you got to be ready to. I mean, sometimes it may take a bit of a transition to move out from in front of the TV into nature. But first off, if you like nature, that helps an awful lot. But it's also easier to protect yourself if you know the nature around you and the people that are coming after you don't. That makes a big difference. Um, yeah, deep woods in Tennessee, no doubt. Yeah, I like Tennessee. Anyway, you guys keep an eye on this thing with John Brennan. Yeah, I appreciate that, Matthew. Absolutely, brother.
New text message from.
Yeah, we definitely need networks. That's something you guys need to be working on. And I realize it takes I raised my kids in a different time, and nowadays you would go to jail for a long time if you did that today. Wasn't that long ago. Um, the thing is, I understand what you're saying that you can't threaten a cop, but they can't just come into your house and take stuff either. But people don't realize that there are processes you have to go through, and just because you have a cop standing there doesn't mean that you can go ahead and just come in the house and take the kids. Does not work that way. You have to know your Constitution. You have to know your Bill of Rights. You've got to understand the law. And When cops say, "Oh, well, you have to know the law," I find that most cops don't know the law. I end up spending my time educating them on the law that I'm supposed to know to get out of situations. But yeah, I mean, all you have to do is you have to defuse the situation at that moment. They have to regroup. They have to get their paperwork in order. While they're off doing that, poof, and then you get your lawyer and you handle things remotely without divulging where you are, how long you're going to be there, who you're with, anything. So there are ways you have to know how to use the system. And that's really hard for a lot of people because there's so much to it. And I've studied this crap a long time. Very few cops know the law. I know it's a little dangerous out here. These cops that are jumping up and arresting people for not wearing masks in stores and stuff like that. There's a reckoning coming. Um, I'm I harp on this all the time. I support anybody who devotes their life to the help of others, to serving others. Anybody who takes a vow and an oath to protect the Constitution, protect the citizens under the Constitution. I respect them all, but these police are offended by the left telling them they want to defund them and doing all these things, and then the same police that are offended are going and arresting conservatives for standing up for their rights or defending themselves against attack. That is a black mark. That's not working well for them. The last thing in the world they want to do is they do not want to have the patriots turn on them. They want to be able to depend on us to protect them when they need it or to back them up. But the more they do this, the more they're hurting their reputation. Nowadays, you have to be a lawyer and a doctor to get by. There are too many dangerous situations out there to not have some basic knowledge. You're right. Sheriff in my county said he is not wasting his time enforcing unconstitutional. I understand that. Yeah, there are a lot of good ones, and that's why I say I support them wholeheartedly. But I'm really having an issue with these cops that are willing to enforce tyrannical law or tyrannical edicts. I have to be specific because they're not laws. Um, they say, "Oh, you have to obey the law." Well, the arresting officer has to know the law first. They arrest you, they take you downtown, you go in front of a judge. The judge, if it's a decent judge and it's not a corrupt judge under the left control, then you get thrown out and all done. In my small area, it'd be real bad quick if cops pulled such bullshit. They are way outnumbered. They know it. They're outnumbered everywhere. That's why I'm saying they do not want to turn on the people that give a shit about them. But too much of this is going on. They're arresting conservatives. They're arresting people for defending themselves. They're taking away their rights when they defend themselves. And then they're going, yeah, but you got to back the blue. Well, the blue's got to earn it too. So I will always back the cops, but I will let them. If a cop is stepping out of line, I will sure as shit let them know that too. I'm not intimidated. I'm not a kind of person that gets jittery when confronted or whatever. Cop badge doesn't matter. They're human. So I do not fear any of them. And if they come at me bowed up and stuff, you know, what about it? I just handle the situation as it comes. Um, has anyone else noticed heavy police in Walmart? It's bad at mine. Yeah, we got a bunch. Yeah, it's like they had a shooting apparently in a Walmart in Texas yesterday. But yeah, Walmart seems to be a staging ground for police presence, and I haven't quite figured that out. There's something in the background going on that I'm looking for with that, and it's interesting you brought it up because yeah, there's something going on. But anyhow, I hope I've gotten some information to you that's helpful. Um, so any bets as to whether Trump's prediction about turning New York red has any chance? Um, Going way back to the beginning, talking about Camel Toe Harris, pay attention to the down ballots. They're going to lie, they're going to cheat, they're going to steal, they're going to do whatever they have to do to get their down ballot tickets filled. They're going to try to keep control of their local local elected officials. Drop it like it's Scott. How you doing? Um, they're going to try to keep the House. They're going to try to get the Senate, but um, they're going to do whatever it takes to do that. They already know the presidency's gone. So just pay attention to your down ballots. Watch for illegal activity going on. Report it if you see it. Um, Teresa, how you doing? Um, anyway, so I think that's an hour. She's going to be done here in about another 20 minutes. So I'm going to get upstairs and make sure I'm there when she comes out. Um, I appreciate everybody's prayers and love you guys. I mean, bottom of my heart, love you guys. I think we have the best patriot group on the planet, and you guys are top notch to me. Uh, Thank you for the prayers. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the PayPals. You guys are an absolute blessing. If you like what I have to say, make sure you tell your friends about me. Mama B, I just saw you jump in there. How you doing? Um, Groundhogville, Woodstock, Sheeple, shop at Jewel W Mask, Walmart with a mask, but go to outdoor, indoor, bar, restaurant. Yeah, I don't wear a mask. The only place that you'll get me one is I will wear a mask in a hospital, like the hospital we're at now. Um, Good to see you, Mama B. I will wear a mask in a hospital, but I will not wear a mask anywhere else. I stand my ground on that. Um, yeah, you guys have a good day too. Anyway, so make sure you tell your friends about me. Hit the thumbs up on the way out the door. Um, I will be doing a live show on Tuesdays because when she comes here for her chemo, I have almost 2 hours that I am required to sit and wait, and there's nothing else I can do at all. So Tuesdays, you will see me. We will hang out. We're gonna have some fun out here. Um, Anything else I do, it's pretty much gonna be if I get a chance, I'll go live. You know, our life is in turmoil right now. Very hard to make a schedule. So when you see me, you'll see me. Except for Tuesdays, I'll be here. Um, I'm I'm hoping that maybe next week is supposed to settle down. We're supposed to start getting some regular hours on appointments, regular times, and maybe next week will settle down a little bit. Um, I'm going to be talking with Pete, and I think now's a good time to get back to doing some fact fiction and beyond because that show's a lot of fun. It's cut loose. It's sort of non situational right now. You know, it's a chance to get away from what's going on around us for a little while. So it helps all of us. It's even therapy for me, I think. So I'm gonna be talking to Pete. We're gonna try to get that going. Maybe next week we'll get back into that on Wednesday night. But anyway, folks, that being said, y'all stay in the fight.